Hello everyone. The stage that is served up today reminds us of the great classics of cycling. The reason is that the finish is atop the renowned Mur de Huy, traditional decider of the Flèche Wallonne, with its sections of close to 20%. Certainly one of the toughest kilometers in cycling ever. He was itching to have a go. He's already on the attack. He's trying to set up a counter-attack.
The breakaway riders are increasing the gap. They are not dangerous for the overall standings. We can let them go.
The riders would almost cross Belgium from north to south on this stage. There are a few difficulties, but at the end there is plenty to chew on, with a sequence of the Côte de Ref, the Mur Saint-Léonard and the Mur de Huy in less than 20 kilometers. Very good rouleur. He broke the hour record. It's best not to give Matthias Brendler too much of a lead. 1.5 minutes for the breakaway. It might just work. A true sprinter who's not too bad of a short climbs. Beware of him in the sprint. He's counter-attacking. Counter-attack. His best chance of victory is to try a breakaway from far out.
The peloton is riding hard. Stay well placed.
A good ruler, he doesn't really have a strong point that would scare opponents.
I'll take it easy on the relay. I'll relay. I'll take it easy on the relay.
Come, Sean, burrito!
Time gap stabilized.
I hear you loud and clear. I'll take it easy and sit on the wheel in front.
And they're off. The punchers will now be able to sort it out between themselves.
1 kilometer. Give it all you've got. Last kilometer. Come on, guys. The end of the stage is not far off. Stay awake. It will soon start to move in the peloton.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. In this stage that crosses from Belgium into France, the riders will cross no less than 7 cobbled sectors, each a potential stumbling block that the tall favourites and their team members must dread.
Okay, guys, the overall standings shouldn't be a worry today. But watch out, it could be nervy. Stay well positioned at the end. It would be a shame to lose everything in the first week.
The beginning of the stage does not present any major difficulties, and there should be a fight to be part of the early breakaway. Things should come to a head in the last 50 kilometres with a sequence of cobbled sectors. Things are livening up at the head of the peloton. Attempt at a counter-attack. The breakaway is widening the gap, but there's nobody who's a threat to the overall standings. Attempt at a counter-attack. He's a pure ruler who relies on his power to tip the scales. Anyway, he doesn't have much choice given his qualities as a sprinter.
Virtually, he takes the lead of the overall standing. The peloton is starting to ride behind him. It looks like he doesn't want yet another rider at the head of the race. He retakes the virtual lead of the overall standings. He won't have been out of his jersey for long. He's the new leader of the overall youth standings.
Attack at the head of the peloton.
Change of leader in the overall youth standings. The peloton is riding hard. Stay well placed.
Attack at the head of the peloton. If the climbs are short, he's pretty good. On the other hand, mountain passes are not really his strong point. Attack at the head of the peloton. His best chance of victory is to try a breakaway from far out. The breakaway is losing ground.
He asked his teammates to maintain the tempo. He must feel on form today.
5 kilometers before the intermediate sprint. It will be contested on a rising false front. Be careful not to launch the sprint too soon.
The head of the race is 5 kilometers from the intermediate sprint.
Continuez comme ça.
His teammates are accelerating. They're no doubt readying the intermediate sprint. You must constantly try to shelter from the wind so as not to consume energy. This is what allows a rider to edge clear at the end of the race.
He's a promising young climber, but who still has plenty of weak points on the flat and in the sprint. He's a good puncher. You must keep a close eye on him on short climbs.
Here's the winner of the intermediate sprint.
The lead riders are now entering the feeding zone, a final breather before facing the cobbled sectors.
The breakaway is beginning to look dangerous. You better start riding, guys. Use the high gear ratio when the tempo of the race picks up. The rest of the time, use the small gear ratio so as not to strain yourself.
Here's a pure rouleur. Make sure you don't leave him alone up front. It will be difficult to catch him, and it's better for him to finish on his own. A good rouleur with not too bad a punch. He should still try to get away before the finish because he's not so fast in a sprint.
The gap is increasing. We don't need to ride for now. There's nobody dangerous for us in the breakaway. He asked his teammates to maintain the tempo. He must feel on form today.
A pure climber, uncomfortable on the flat. Given his youth, he still has time to improve. Both puncher and rouleur, he can rely on his pace if he reaches the finish in a small group. The breakaway is holding off the peloton, but it's going to be difficult.
racing, guys. The peloton should be there for the stage win.
A good ruler, he doesn't really have a strong point that would scare opponents.
Allez, fourmi! Allez!
He's the best placed on the... overall standings in the breakaway.
Allez, Thomas! Come on! Allez, Arthur!
Looks like the breakaway still has some gas left. It's still able to widen the gap.
Allez, parfait! Allez, Ryder!
He's the fastest sprinter in the leading group.
The race will soon enter its final phase with a succession of cobbled sectors. It's important to be really well placed because the roads are very narrow. The approaching sector is 1,200 meters long.
Vas-y, Tony. Vas-y, Tony. Vas-y, Roberto. Courage. Allez, Fabien. Allez, Romain. Allez, les gars. Courage. Vas-y, Richie. Hang on. Keep pushing. Allez, Joachim. Allez, courage, on continue, les gars. Allez, putain.
The riders will soon turn right and begin a new sector, 1,600 meters long. Slightly rising at the start, the next sector will come only 3 kilometers after the end of this one.
He's in trouble. It's not sure that he'll be there for the sprint.
Vas-y, Arthur. Allez, Pinot.
The breakaway is holding off the peloton, but it's going to be difficult.
The gap is decreasing, guys. The peloton should be there for the stage win.
This sector, which connects Verchambault to Saulzois, is 1,200 meters long.
Vas-y, Ryder. Vas-y, Peter. Vas-y, Nitro. Allez, Richie. Vas-y, Thomas. Continuez comme ça. Allez, Carlos, vas-y, Carlos.
The peloton is riding hard. Stay well placed.
Vas-y, Sourito.
Allez, faire ça mieux là.
Robert. Allez, continuez comme ça. Allez, Marseille. Vas-y, Silva. Vas-y, Vanclair. Les voilà. Allez, Thomas.
Continuez comme ça, allez.
Another 3 sectors to be negotiated for the men in front, striking more than 7 kilometers of shaking. The next two sectors are separated by only 1 kilometre. Coming one after the other, they're likely to cause some trouble.
Vas-y, Romain! Allez, Vincenzo! Bravo, les gars!
The lead group is entering the longest sector of this stage, 3,700 metres from Viesly to Kievi. Looks like the breakaway still has some gas left. It's still able to widen the gap.
The riders up front still have something left. They're upping the pace to try to hold out till the end. A teammate has just been dropped. You can't count on him any longer.
Allez, Betancourt! Vincenzo! Vas-y, Chavanet! Allez, les gars, on continue comme ça! Vas-y, Alberto, ouais! Allez, Kreuziger! Allez, Hextal! Allez, Rigoberto! Allez, Thomas!
Allez, Christophe, vas-y!
Allez, Chris!
The yellow jersey was in danger, but he's once again leading the overall standings. Change of leader in the overall youth standings.
A little less than 20 kilometres and another cobbled sector for the race lead.
He's got his teammates riding because a rider who's dangerous for the stage victory has broken away. He's being left behind. It's good news for the overall standings. You've got to ride, guys. He's dangerous for the overall standings. He's got his teammates riding because in front there's a rider who's dangerous to him in the overall standings.
Only 10 kilometres before the finish.
He's just fallen. That may cost him some time in the overall standings. His teammates are riding to protect the jersey. virtual yellow jersey.
We should witness a solo victory in Cambrai. It should no longer be possible to catch the lead rider.
His team is riding for the overall standings. The front of the race will struggle to widen the gap. You've got to ride, guys. He's dangerous for the overall standing.
Allez Pierre.
Hello everyone. In the fields through which today's stage passes were the scene of many a bloody battle during the First World War. Today the confrontation is more likely to oppose the sprinters' teams that will pull out all the stops to set up a mass sprint finish.
Okay, guys, the overall standing shouldn't be a worry today. But watch out, it could be nervy. Stay well positioned at the end. It would be a shame to lose everything in the first week.
Things are livening up at the head of the peloton. Attempt at a counter-attack.
Hang on! Keep pushing!
The stage seems to be designed for the sprinters, and it should follow the time-honoured scenario of an early breakaway that will try to hold off the peloton over the final kilometres. The breakaway is widening the gap, but there's nobody who's a threat to the overall standings. Both puncher and rouleur, he can rely on his pace if he reaches the finish in a small group. Attempt at a counter-attack. His best chance of victory is to try a breakaway from far out. The only climb of the day will see 1 point allocated to the first rider over the top.
The peloton is riding hard. Stay well placed. The peloton is starting to ride behind you. It looks like he doesn't want yet another rider at the head of the race.
He is a pure rouleur who relies on his power to tip the scales. Anyway, he doesn't have much choice given his qualities as a sprinter. Attack at the head of the peloton. Here's a pure rouleur. Make sure you don't leave him alone up front. It would be difficult to catch him, and it's better for him to finish on his own.
The first riders are 2 kilometers from the climb. Here's the positions over the last climb.
attack at the head of the peloton.
Watch out. You're not going to be able to attack for much longer.
Allez, Gazing!
Virtually, he takes the lead of the overall standings.
Allez, Thibaut! Allez, allez! Vas-y, Quintana! Vas-y, Basta! Allez, mets en cours! Allez, les gars, courage! Allez, Tony, allez, allez, allez! Allez, Vincenzo! Allez, Ryder! Vas-y, Quintana!
Change of leader in the overall youth standings.
Vas-y, Perrault!
Venga, vamos, más rápido.
Auf geht's, Thibaut!
Vas-y, tu l'as. Keep going, keep going. Super, keep going.
Auf geht's, Alberto!
He's the best placed on the overall standings in the breakaway.
Faster, faster.
At the front, he's the best placed for the green jersey.
breakaways widening the gap, but there's nobody who's a threat to the overall standings.
Guys, the peloton should be there for the stage win. The peloton is riding hard. Stay well placed. Use the high gear ratio when the tempo of the race picks up. The rest of the time, use the small gear ratio so as not to strain yourself.
30 seconds lead for the head of the race.
The riders up front still have something left. They're upping the pace to try to hold out till the end.
Only 10 kilometers to go and the breakaway has still not been reeled in, but it should only be a matter of time.
10 kilometers from the finish for the leaders. It's going to be complicated.
Five kilometers. It will be very complicated for the breakaway. If it manages to hold off the peloton, it will be a real exploit.
5 kilometers for the breakaway. It'll be tight for the stage victory.
The finish will be raced on a very wide road. Apart from a left turn 2 kilometers from the line, the finishing stretch harbours no special risks. Bunched peloton.
Last kilometer. You've got to sprint.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. With over 100 kilometres to be ridden along the coast, the peloton will be particularly exposed to the wind. Teams could be tempted to go on the offensive and try a border. The riders have just set out and already there's an attack.
Okay, guys. The overall standing shouldn't be a worry today. But watch out. It could be nervy. Stay well positioned at the end. It would be a shame to lose everything in the first week. The gap is decreasing, guys. The peloton should be there for the stage win.
Last time checked with a breakaway, 1 minute.
The peloton is riding hard. Stay well placed. The green jersey will not change anymore today. The leader is ahead by enough points. He'll be the new polka dot jersey. He can no longer be caught today. Use the high gear ratio when the tempo of the race picks up. The rest of the time, use the small gear ratio so as not to strain yourself. A teammate has just been dropped. You can't count on him any longer.
The closing kilometres are downhill and things should go very fast. You'd have to be very well placed to hope to pull off a victory. With the final stretch heading downhill, the breakaway should be able to hang on.
5 kilometers for the breakaway. It should have enough of a lead for the stage victory.
Another left-hand bend, and the finishing line will be in sight for those in front.
The breakaway is under the red pennant. It's going to win.
Welcome to all. On this stage that takes us into Brittany, the scenario should follow tradition. The baroudeurs will use the short climbs located just after the start to create an early breakaway, while the sprinters' teams wait for the second part of the stage to control the race and set off a massive sprint finish. The riders have just set out and already there's an attack.
Today is not a key stage for the overall standings, but stay awake at the finish. It could allow us to make some small time differences, so if you've got the legs, don't hesitate to attack.
I hear you loud and clear. I'll take it easy and sit on the wheel in front.
The breakaway's widening the gap, but there's nobody who's a threat to the overall standings. Attempt at a counter-attack. He is a pure ruler who relies on his power to tip the scales. Anyway, he doesn't have much choice given his qualities as a sprinter. At ease on short climbs, mountain passes, or on the flat, all he lacks is a good turn of speed when finishing in a big group. Attack at the head of the peloton. His best chance of victory is to try a breakaway from far out. The first climb of the stage will allow 1 point to be given to whoever goes over the top in front.
gap is decreasing, guys. The peloton should be there for the stage win. The green jersey will not change any more today. The leader is ahead by enough points. The peloton is riding hard. Stay well placed. The riders up front still have something left. They're upping the pace to try to hold out till the end. Use the high gear ratio when the tempo of the race picks up. The rest of the time, use the small gear ratio so as not to strain yourself.
It's primarily a teammate rouleur, even if he's not too bad on a sprint. Looks like the breakaway still has some gas left. It's still able to widen the gap.
From the finish for the head of the race. They can believe it's possible if they still have something in the tank for the final short climb.
With less than 10 kilometers to go, and against all odds, it would look as though the breakaway was able to thwart the plans of the sprinters and maintain a lead sufficient to carry the day. The closing kilometers, even if they're not dangerous, meander somewhat. Riders will have to stay alert. Last time checked with a breakaway, 1 minute.
The breakaway is under the red pennant. To stand any chance of victory, it must tackle the short climb correctly.
Zermatt of Han Ho. For this 100% Breton stage, the contenders for overall victory should take the race by the horns. Let's not forget that the last winner at the top of Mur de Bretagne went on to win the final overall standings. He was itching to have a go. He's already on the attack.
Today should be lively. The race is over irregular terrain, so there's likely to be plenty of movement. The green jersey will not change any more today. The leader is ahead by enough points.
He's trying to set up a counter-attack.
Use the high gear ratio when the tempo of the race picks up. The rest of the time, use the small gear ratio so as not to strain yourself. Looks like he doesn't want to let too many people get away, so he's got his team riding. The lead group is too large to work well together. It may explode into several pieces. The breakaway riders are increasing the gap. They are not dangerous for the overall standing. We can let them go. The peloton is riding hard. Stay well placed.
Time gap stabilized. He does well on short climbs, but he can't really rely on his sprint qualities to hope for a win. The mountains really aren't his thing. He's more of a puncher ruler with a good finish, if in a small group. He can only rely on his qualities as a ruler. Sprints and climbs are not his thing. The gap is decreasing. The peloton has not given up. His best chance of victory is to try a breakaway from far out.
Vas-y, Quintana.
He's a good sprinter, often used as lead-out rider to drive mass sprints. A good ruler, he doesn't really have a strong point that would scare opponents.
Looks like he doesn't want to let too many people get away, so he's got his team riding.
Vas-y, Jean-Christophe.
1.5 minutes for the breakaway. It might just work.
Vas-y, Tom. Lâchez rien, allez. Vas-y, Vincent. Allez, Peter.
In front, he's the best placed in the overall standing.
Allez, Richie. Vas-y, Nitro. Allez, continue comme ça. Allez, Nicolas.
Breakaway riders are increasing the gap. They are not dangerous for the overall standings. We can let them go.
Vas-y Thomas. Allez Valverde. Allez gars. Allez, allez, cave. Vas-y, Ryder. Allez, allez, vas-y Thibaut. Vas-y Vincenzo. Vas-y Fabien. Vas-y Ryder. Allez mon bleu.
In the leading group, he's the best placed on the points classification.
Time gap stabilized.
Vas-y, mets ton cours. Vas-y, Raphaël. Allez, et Contador, t'es le plus fort, vas-y. Vas-y, Deschamps. Les voilà. Allez, va bien faire.
The gap is widening. No need to panic, guys. There's nobody dangerous for the overall standings. You must constantly try to shelter from the wind, so as not to consume energy. This is what allows a rider to edge clear at the end of the race.
Allez, Chamanel. Vas-y.
Guys, don't forget to protect our leader. Communication is important. That's why we have TeamCom.
I hear you loud and clear. I'll take it easy and sit on the wheel in front.
Allez, Rodriguez. Vas-y, Fabien. C'est toi le meilleur. gars! Courage! Continuez comme ça! Allez!
Come on! Keep going! Keep going!
Allez, courir!
Vas-y, Rodriguez!
Vas-y, Thibaut! Allez, Quintana! Vas-y, Vasca! Vas-y, Tony! Allez, Romain! Vas-y, Arthur! Allez, Courtois! Allez, Rodriguez! Allez, Di Maria!
Auf geht's
Allez,
jetzt!
Romain! Allez, les gars! Allez, les gars, courage! Wouhou! Vas-y, Spartacus! Vas-y, vas-y, Thibaut!
There's not much going on. Isn't there someone who wants to liven up the race with an attack?
The intermediate sprint is approaching. This will be the only opportunity for the sprinters to score points for the green jersey. Indeed, it would be very surprising to see them fight for the stage victory given the percentages encountered at the finish.
Allez, Alberto!
breakaway is 5 kilometers from the intermediate sprint. His teammates are accelerating. They're no doubt readying the intermediate sprint.
The breakaway is losing its lead. It's going to be difficult for them.
Here's the winner of the intermediate sprint.
He's one of the favourites for the race and the undisputed leader of his team. Watch out for him.
Some riders are making no contribution, and that annoys him. The gap is widening. No need to panic, guys. There's nobody dangerous for the overall standing.
Go, go, go!
The gap between the peloton and the escapees is stable. Today's climb will be contested in Mont Ventoux. It's fourth category and it is worth 1 point in the climber standings. The riders will then enter the feed zone.
Understood.
King of the Mountain sprint in 2 kilometers for the breakaway group.
Understood. Understood.
Here's the positions over the last climb.
Understood.
Ok, Étienne. Continuez comme ça. Come on, come on. Vas-y.
The breakaway shouldn't widen the gap too much because he's got his teammates to ride.
Allez, Ryder. Allez, cave.
breakaway is unlikely to go all the way, guys. Watch out for counter moves. The end of the stage is not far off. Stay awake. It will soon start to move in the peloton.
Vas-y, installe. Les voilà. Vas-y, Pierre. Vas-y, Warren. Vas-y, Gesink. Allez, le gros. Allez, Spartacus. Allez les gars, courage! Allez, Thomas!
He asked his guys to maintain the tempo. Watch him. He must feel able to win the stage. The gap is growing. Don't worry. They're not well placed in the overall standings. The peloton is riding hard. Stay well placed.
Vas-y, Spino!
The head of the race has 1.5 minutes lead on the peloton.
The riders up front still have something left. They're upping the pace to try to hold out till the end. The breakaway is unlikely to go all the way, guys. Watch out for counter moves.
Last time checked with the breakaway, 1 minute. The breakaway will have had the merit of livening up the stage, but it's now clear that it cannot hold off the peloton. 30 seconds lead for the head of the race.
10 kilometers from the finish for the head of the race. It's going to be difficult for them, especially with the short climb to the line.
We'll have to keep something in reserve if we want to get away in the final kilometers. It's no doubt a bunched peloton that will begin the Mur de Bretagne climb in a few kilometers. Another 3 kilometers and the lead riders will begin the final climb.
Just 5 more kilometers. Stay well positioned to avoid losing time due to a break. Just 5 more kilometers. We are heading for a grouped finish.
Right at the next turn and we're there. The renowned Mur de Bretagne. 2 kilometers at an average of 7%. The first kilometer is the steepest. The average borders 10%. Attack. No need to ask questions. One kilometer and it's still undecided. Who will prevail today?
Watch out for him for the overall. You've got to chase him down.
Breakaway over.
He's been dropped. The stage is too much for him. 1 kilometer. Give it all you've got.
The last team is now preparing to set off. Will they manage to beat the reference time for this team time trial? We'll know in a few minutes.
Hey guys, it's quite a long time trial. Don't go off too fast, because the final climb is not easy. If you are done in before the end, it will be very difficult to clock a good time. Come on, guys. Stick together. Remember, it's the time of the 5th rider that counts. Don't relay for too long. Beyond 1 kilometer, you'll get too tired compared to the rest of the team, and you'll quickly get dropped.
Allez Thomas. Vas-y, Alberto.
Come on, guys. Stay in line. Go, go. It's good. You've done the best intermediate time. It's good. Be careful not to overdo it, guys.
Continuez comme ça. Vas-y, petit blanc. Allez, Alberto. Allez, Pierrot.
Go on. Stick to it. It's a small little climb. Go on. Step on the pedal to pick up speed again. Go, go! Come on, guys. It's flat for 2 kilometers, and then it's downhill. We're halfway there. Remember to keep something in reserve for the Côte de Cadoudal. It's 2 kilometers. Just 10 more kilometers. Hang on in there, lads.
Allez les gars, courage. Vas-y Roland. Allez les gars, courage. Allez, parfait. Oh les gars. Vas-y,
Go on. That's good, guys. You're setting a good time. Try to keep this pace to the finish. Now it's downhill to the foot of the Cadoudal.
Vas-y, Tony. Allez, Richie. Vas-y, Jackie. Allez, Tony. Allez, on y va. Allez, les gars.
Go, go, go!
Allez, Rodriguez. Allez, Saka. Vas-y, Roland.
You're at the foot of the Cadoudal. Remember, the time is that of the fifth rider. It serves no purpose to push everyone beyond their limit.
Allez, Thomas.
1 kilometer. If you have any strength left, now is the time to give it everything. Afterwards, it will be too late. 500 meters. Go! Standing on the pedals. To the line. Go! Go! Go!
On the starting line, we now have the last team to set off in this team time trial. Come on, let's hear it for them.
Hey guys, it's quite a long time trial. Don't go off too fast because the final climb is not easy. If you are done in before the end, it will be very difficult to clock a good time. Come on guys, stick together. Remember, it's the time of the fifth rider that counts. Don't relay for too long. Beyond 1 kilometer, you'll get too tired compared to the rest of the team, and you'll quickly get dropped.
Vas-y, Thomas.
Come on, guys. Stay in line. Go, go. It's good. You've done the best intermediate time. It's good. Be careful not to overdo it, guys. Go on. Stick to it. It's a small little climb. Go on. Step on the pedal to pick up speed again. Go. Go! Come on, guys. It's flat for 2 kilometers, and then it's downhill. We're halfway there. Remember to keep something in reserve for the Côte de Cadoudal. It's 2 kilometers. Just 10 more kilometers. Hang on in there, lads.
Allez, Spartacus!
You've done the best intermediate time. It's good. Be careful not to overdo it, guys. Go on. That's good, guys. You're setting a very good time. Keep a little for the finish, though. Come on. Now it's downhill to the foot of the Cadoudal. You're at the foot of the Cadoudal. Remember, the time is that of the 5th rider. It serves no purpose to push everyone beyond their limit. 1 kilometer. If you have any strength left, now is the time to give it everything. Afterwards, it will be too late. 500 meters. Go! Standing on the pedals. To the line. Go! Go! Go!
Va être
Allez les gars, on continue comme ça.
He succeeded in avoiding all the pitfalls to win today. His team has just won the Van Plumelec time trial stage. Congratulations to him and his teammates for having come out on top today in this timed event.
Hello and welcome to all. Today everything will be played out on the final climb to La Pierre-Saint-Martin. The Baroudas will try to hold off the return of the Tour favourites, who in turn should not pass up on the opportunity to KO their opponents.
Understood.
The green jersey will not change any more today. The leader is ahead by enough points.
Understood.
The breakaway is increasing its lead over the yellow jersey, but there's no worry as it contains no big guns for the overall standings.
Understood.
You must constantly try to shelter from the wind so as not to consume energy. This is what allows a rider to edge clear at the end of the race. When going downhill, the aerodynamic position is useful to increase speed without expending energy. Guys, don't forget to protect our leader. Communication is important. That's why we have team comms.
The gap with the yellow jersey is melting away. The escapees will have difficulties going all the way. A good ruler, he doesn't really have a strong point that would scare opponents. He is a pure ruler who relies on his power to tip the scales. Anyway, he doesn't have much choice given his qualities as a sprinter. In 10 kilometers, the leading riders will contest the intermediate sprint. They can then prepare for the climb to La Pierre-Saint-Martin. At ease on short climbs, mountain passes or on the flat, all he lacks is a good turn of speed when finishing in a big group. He's a good climber puncher over any kind of obstacle. He could be labelled as a puncher, but is also good in the mountains. However, his top speed can be described as lethargic.
He asked his teammates to maintain the tempo. He must feel on form today. The first riders have reached the intermediate sprint.
His best chance of victory is to try a breakaway from far out.
Allez les gars!
The end of the stage is not far off. Stay awake. It will soon start to move in the peloton. Here's the winner of the intermediate sprint.
Venga chicos, ánimo.
The breakaway increases its lead on the yellow jersey group.
He's got his guys riding. He must have good legs. The yellow jersey does not necessarily need to attack. Depending on his lead, he can simply follow attacks and counter at the very end of a stage.
The breakaway is being reeled in. It will be difficult to withstand the return of the yellow jersey.
Vas-y, Béton. Courage! Tu vas y faire!
He has ambitions for the polka dot jersey. If the climbs are short, he's pretty good. On the other hand, mountain passes are not really his strong point.
Bravo, les gars!
He's a good climber.
Allez, Chabanel! Allez, pas peur, c'est toi! Allez, Marquez!
The peloton is riding hard. Stay well placed.
Lâchez rien! Allez!
Use the high gear ratio when the tempo of the race picks up. The rest of the time, use the small gear ratio so as not to strain yourself.
The head of the race has 1.5 minutes lead on the yellow jersey. 1.5 minutes lead for the head of the race over the favourites.
I don't know if it's a bluff, but the breakaway looks to be increasing the pace at the front of the race.
Allez les gars!
He's the best placed in the overall standings amongst those at the head of the race.
Understood.
Vas-y, Spartacus! Back et Romain!
Understood.
The riders up front have a 1 minute lead on the favourites group. The yellow jersey group is 1 minute from the head of the race. Another 5 kilometres to go and the race leaders will be at the foot of the final climb. He can only rely on his qualities as a ruler. Sprints and climbs are not his thing. The gap is 1 minute between the favourites and the guy in the front.
Vas-y, Tigre!
The gap between the favourites group and the front is 30 seconds. 30 seconds between the breakaway and the yellow jersey.
Understood.
A teammate has just been dropped. You can't count on him any longer.
The breakaway is being reeled in. It will be difficult to withstand the return of the yellow jersey. The yellow jersey has just joined up with the lead group. Here it is. The riders are starting to climb to La Pierre-Saint-Martin. It's a difficult climb, a little more than 15 kilometers long.
got his teammates riding because in front there's a rider who's dangerous to him in the overall standing.
The first half is the hardest. The slope is regularly over 10%.
They're riding hard behind. This isn't the moment to relax. It is not always a good idea to be too many in a breakaway, as the others will not necessarily want to cooperate with us.
Venga, chicos, ánimo.
We're professional leaders. Come on, keep at it. I want you to ride in his tracks. He's dangerous for the overall standings.
Venga, vamos, más rápido.
Alejandro Valverde needs no introduction. Puncher, climber with multiple stage wins on the Grand Tours and in the Ardennes Classics.
Change of leader in the overall youth standings. He's the new leader of the overall youth standings.
The lead rider has 30 seconds on the favourites.
He's attacking. Whatever you do, don't let him build a lead.
Anda.
10 kilometres to go for the front of the race.
Venga, vamos, más rápido.
Attack! We've got to react straight away. He's a threat to us.
Vamos, más rápido.
Reduce speed a bit, otherwise you'll hit the wall.
Venga, chicos, ánimo. Venga, vamos.
He's one of the favourites for the race and the undisputed leader of his team. Watch out for him. The last 6 kilometres are less steep and offer a little less advantage when trying to lose opponents.
Venga, chicos, ánimo.
Only 5 kilometers left for the race leaders.
Only 2 kilometers from the finish. It looks like certain victory for the man at the front.
The breakaway is 1 kilometer from the finishing line.
The lead riders 1 minute 30 on the favourites.
He tops the standings and will receive the traditional honours. Here's the yellow jersey of this Tour de France. Let's hope for his sake that things go as well in the future, but for now, he can relish the moment.